Hi, this is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a triple braid with waxed Brazilian cord. So this is what we're going to be making here in this video, and it is using 3 strands each of 3 colors to create a beautiful colorful braid. And in the back I'm going to show you how to create a macrame square knot sliding closure. So this is going to be really great. So this is going to be nice and easy for you. It's a great summer look, and it's a wonderful way to utilize the 4 colors here. So I'm actually only going to use 3, but this is a really great thing so you can create lots of little stackable bracelets, because could you imagine if you sort of mixed and matched all 4 of these to create several of these braided strands? Really fun. So I did bring out another example here, and this has just some open strands and some little seed beads on there that kind of look like sea glass, which I love. But I just wanted to show you another way you could use this closure. So it's the same kind of style, but again, a fun way to stack up those bracelets. Okay, so we're going to be using some unconventional tools here. I have a lighter. I also have some tape. I'm going to be using some flush cutters here. You can also use scissors if you like. And then I have my ruler. So to begin, what we're going to do is I'm going to choose 3 colors here, and I've chosen the green, the cream, and the brown. I think I want to make something that's kind of really earthy. You know, I love that. So let me go ahead and set these aside here. And through the magic of video, I have all of my strands pre-cut. Now what I've done is I've cut 3 strands of the green, and each strand is 18 inches long. I've also done the same for the cream and the same for the brown. All right, so we're just gonna move right along there. So 18 inches each. So you should have 3, 6, 9 strands. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring all the ends together here at one end here. Go ahead and bring that together, and bring all of these guys together. And we're just going to gather them all up at one side. Okay, so now go ahead and bring that all together and move to about 4 inches or so down the way. And we're going to make an overhand knot. So go ahead and just bring all your cords through and just pull that knot together. And here's where you can kind of bring out your ruler again just to make sure you're doing about 4 inches. So I'm going to scoot mine up this way a little bit and create a nice little knot. Now, if you have some little pieces there that seem to be sort of gone rogue, go ahead and tug at those individual strands there. See how it can just kind of come together nice and easy. So we want to make sure our knot is secure, but we also want it to look good. There we go. So just give a little tug to all of those. So now we have a nice little knot to work with. So I'm going to set this on my work surface here. And what I want to do, let me kind of make some room, is I want to use some Scotch tape. Now you can also use a macrame board if you like, but I'm just going to use some tape to just tape it down onto my surface so that I can work with it and it's going to be nice and easy. Okay, so now I have my work set down, and I'm going to go ahead and separate all of those colors out. So I want to separate the brown, the cream, and the green. There we go. So now you'll notice that because these are waxed, they're going to kind of sit together, and they're going to sit together. You can just hear my fingers kind of run down them. There we go. All right. So now we have our cords all set up and ready to go. Okay, so we're zoomed in a little bit here. I want you to be able to see that what the idea is we're going to keep all 3 of those strands together, but we want to make sure that they stay nice and flat for us. So if you need to kind of pull them out to the side, feel free to do that. All right, so now we're going to kind of lay it across the top, our green. And then starting in with the brown there. So we want to make sure that we get that nice flat piece starting right up at the top. And now we're just doing a triple strand braid. I know it's hard to see, but the thing I want you to take away from this is that it might start off a little crazy there, but keep these strands as flat as you possibly can, because they're going to curve around And now you can already start to see that after that first little one there, we're getting that nice triple strand look. So again, just kind of folding it over, keeping everything nice and flat, folding it over. And you want to keep a nice even tension. Now you don't need to pull this too tight because they're gonna do their own thing. So don't worry too much about like yanking it tight. The idea is that they're all gonna kind of come together here in this beautiful way. And you can already see. So you can see up at the top there, it's a little kind of muddy. That's okay. I'm okay with that. If you want to play around with it and get it absolutely perfect, feel free to do so. But I'm more concerned about what this major length is going to look like here. And you just got to keep them together, keep them in order there, because they start to just find their way. Just smooth out the bottom there. So we're going to go the whole length together. And you can see also that I'm just kind of using my fingers and I'm just pressing them together as we move down the braid. Now, this is where you can create your desired length. I like to do at least 4 to 5 inches or so, especially if you're going to be doing like a 6-inch bracelet, but we want to leave enough space in the front. So I'm going to do about 4 inches, I think, for this one. We want to leave enough space for that closure in the back. So we want to have the appropriate amount of space in the beginning here. Okay, and you can see it just get a little twisted. That's okay. We're just going to keep going here. And I'm just going to move this up so that you can keep seeing what's happening here. So again, you can just see that I'm just keeping everything nice and tight. And just together, you know, we want to make sure it's not wobbling to one side or the other. And you're just always laying it on top, just like so. And just kind of curving it around. So you see how beautiful this looks with 3 colors. Now you can do this in a monochrome as well if you just want to create a single color of a braid. There we go. All right, so I think I have maybe just a little bit more to do. All right, let me cross that last green over there, and I think that's going to do it for my length. Yeah, I think that is good for me. Okay, so now once you've gotten to this point here, you can see that we have our braid working it. Again, you can see that it's a little tight there at the top, but I don't mind the way that looks. I think it's all right for me. So now we're going to bring all those cords together. So just kind of pinch them together and bring them all the way around here. And just kind of holding it all with your fingers. We don't want to lose that braid. And again, just kind of working that knot to that very end there. All right. And again, we're just going to come to this side and give a little tug to each of our cords to just tighten that knot up. So many cords to work with. But that is the triple strand braid. So you see how that just fits really nicely on the wrist? All right. So now, oops, I have one rogue one there. Let's see what I can do about finding which one that is. There we go. See how that works? All right. So we have that strand ready to go. So now we are going to work on completing the clasp. Okay, so here's where you can choose your favorite color. I like to choose the most dominant color, one of the darker colors, but again, it is entirely up to you. So for my clasp, I've chosen the green. So I've cut off 12 inches here. But before we get to that portion, what we want to do is we want to kind of bend it around the wrist and do our little crossover here so you can see where that is going to lay. But the first thing is let's go ahead and trim some of our tails here for us. So because we are going to not want to do all of these strands, what I like to do is I like to pick out one of the brown, one of the green, and one of the cream here. And those are going to be my strands in the back. So I'm just going to bend those down and kind of keep them out of the way. Come to the other end here, and we're going to come in with our flush cutters and just give a nice little snip. You can see that I'm snipping just above that knot. So go ahead and work all the way there. Make sure you're catching all those fibers. And here's where you're going to come in with your lighter. Now, if you are a kiddo, be sure to use some adult supervision for this. Go ahead and take your lighter, light it up, and barely touch the ends to the lighter. What we're just trying to do is just melt it down just a little bit, and then quickly use the end of the wire, or excuse me, the end of the lighter, and we are going to just kind of smooth that down so it's nice and secure. All right, so now we have that ready to go. So now we're just going to repeat that on the other side. So let's go ahead and choose our single strands to pull down here. And I like to choose strands that are kind of all on the same side. I think it just gives it a nice little look, if you can. All right, let's see here. Because I have this side, so I want to make sure that if this is going to wrap around, I'm going to kind of hide that. Let's see if we can do the same on this side. So the strands that I want to pull forward are going to come from this side. So yeah, I was right. There we go. Just a little tip. You don't have to do it that way. I don't want you to overthink this. Okay, so come in now, again with your flush cutters. Give it a nice little snip. And by using the lighter here, you don't have to, but I like to seal this up. We get a lot of like, oh, but mine is fraying and, you know, all this other stuff. So I just want to make sure that you guys don't have any issues with this coming apart. So go ahead and just touch, and just press, press, press. So what that does is it kind of seals it all together right in that knot there. Okay, so now we should have something like this. All right, so let's bend that together. And we're going to crisscross this over each other. Don't worry that one end is a little bit longer. That was the length that, you know, I decided that I wanted to cut off. So you can, again, I started with 18 inches. So if you think that you want a bigger braid or you're doing an anklet, go ahead and adjust that. But now we want to be working with this. So go ahead and lay all those cords across each other like so. And we are going to come in with our 12-inch strand here, go underneath, and we want to find that midpoint there. So go ahead and just kind of fold them over and just give them a little tug there. And now what we're going to do is we are going to create macrame square knots. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the one in your left hand here, bring it across, bring the one in your right hand over, and then bring this strand to the other side. Now this first knot is really important as you bring it together. We want to make sure that our cords are as even as we can get them. So I'm going to pull on this side a little bit. Okay, and now we're going to repeat that going the other way. So bring that right cord over, bring it to the back, bring this through, and that is one square knot. Now, at this point, I'm just going to kind of scooch everything together because I want to make sure that everything is still sliding, because you want to have good tension on your macrame square knots, but not too much so that it's not going to slide. Okay, and then we're just going to repeat. So you're just using those strands that we used to braid with as our sort of baseline underneath here. So give it a nice little tug. Again, not too tight. We still want it to be able to slide. And come across. And you can do as many as you like. I like to try to do, you know, at least 5 or 6 or so. I think it just, you know, helps create a stronger closure in the back. Now you could also do this where you do it friendship bracelet style, where you just tie those together in the back and, you know, they'll just fall off when they fall off. But this is a great little bracelet to use for stacking for summer. If you want, you can also add in, you know, charms, beads. There's so many things you can do with this basic design. But I love the braid. I think it just shows off the colors really, really nicely. Okay, so I think I'm just going to do a couple more here. Okay, so you can see what we have working with us now. Now, you can absolutely tie an overhand knot and create a little bump on the outside, but I'm going to show you an alternative way to do it. So I'm going to take one strand here and I'm going to create a little knot, but I want to make sure that that knot scooches all the way down as close as I can get it to my little piece there. So scooch, 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 as close as I can get it to the end, so it sticks out just to the side a little bit. I would personally rather have it sticking out to the side than against my wrist, but I will leave that entirely up to you. So now we're just going to come to the side here and do the same thing. Scooch, 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 as close as we can. There we go. Okay, so just looking at these two end pieces here, I'm going to come in with my flush cutters and trim off close to it on both sides. And you can see we have those little nubs. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our lighter, again, be mindful of your fingers, and just kind of seal that all together. And come to this side, and we're going to seal that all together. So we're just really melting that wax onto there. All right, and then you can kind of press them all together if you want to create a little bit more of a sleek look, but it's at the back of the wrist, so, you know, it's up to you. So as you can tell, you do still have those little kind of notches on the outside, but you want to make sure that you did not melt the inner workings here because we want to make sure that this is still slidable, okay? So now, before we trim the other pieces, let's make sure that not only slides, but is in the center. So go ahead and kind of press it up. We want to press these back, kind of create our little space there. Now, when you are sizing this, before you trim these, make sure that you can open it as wide as you need to, slip it onto your wrist, because that's where you're going to want to judge where you want this all to land. So for example, this fits on my wrist. I can actually pull it a little bit tighter. About there. Again, making sure to pull this and pull this guy. We want everything to be even. Even, even, even. Take your time with this part. Okay, so you can see that's as big as I want it to slip over my wrist. It slips over nice and easily. I can take it off. So now that I know where that point is, I know how much I can trim here. Before we trim, what we're going to do is we are going to separate and create those little knots one more time on the ends. And bring that down. I still like to leave just a little bit of length, so about 1/4 of an inch. And go ahead and do that for all of those pieces here, and then I'm going to show you the very final little step to finish this off. Okay, so now I can bring all of these together. I just kind of pulled it tight just a little bit there, just to finish that off. There we go. And now come in and just one by one, go ahead and trim just above the little knots here. And just one more time. All right, set all that aside and come in one by one with our lighter and just give it a nice little melt onto each little piece there. And this again is just going to help just seal that in. And now you are all done. Look how cute that is. And you can stack these up, like I said, if you just had a full arm of all of these types of bracelets using that waxed Brazilian cord. And what I love about it is it's nice and stiff. You can get it wet. It's going to be really, really great and perfect to wear for summer. So go ahead and check out all of the colors of the waxed Brazilian cord that we have over at Beadaholique.com. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to our YouTube channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button below to get all the latest from Beadaholique.